I'm a black American with 3 black children, and I am a black mom.
All right, let's get it poppin'. Okay, so what is your first memory of race?
My first memory of race was when I was about maybe 12 years old. Um, I was with a couple of my friends in school, and we were, playing on the playground, for recess time, and we were playing double dutch. Because at that time that was just what we did at recess time, play double dutch, and we were playing double dutch, and there was this group of Caucasian girls. Um, they would kind of like taunt us. They would call us all kinds of names, and they would use the N words towards us. And one of them would come up to us and they would, like spit at us and, yeah, and throw rocks and things like that. Yeah, so that was like my first encounter of dealing with racism in America. And this happened almost on a consistent basis. And we would tell the teacher about it, but it seemed like no one did anything about it. It was like it was always, oh, they didn't mean to do it, or, oh, we'll talk to them about it, but nothing ever seemed to come about it. And then I remember one time, my group, we followed the girls home, and we actually got into a fist fight with the girls. We actually beat the girls up. I know that wasn't the right thing to do at that time, but that's what we did because we were kind of like taunted like every day, and so we got fed up with it because nobody was doing anything about it. So this is the way that we felt we could handle the situation, and so that's what we did. We got in trouble. We got in trouble, but we explained to the principal in the school that this is the way that we felt we could handle the situation because nobody did anything about, them taunting us, calling us names, and spitting on us and throwing rocks at us on a consistent basis. So, that was my first time dealing with racism, on my part, So ever since then, it was like it just did something, to us, to my friends, So that's my first encounter of dealing with racism. Yeah. So I know it was terrible. Yeah.
So sorry guys, did you teach your children about race? And if so, at what age?
I taught my children about race. I think I taught my daughter because I thought she should know, dealing with what I dealt with at 12 years old. I taught her at a young age. I think I taught her probably, when she was like in elementary school, when she was starting to go to elementary school, because I just kind of felt because she was older than her age, like she was more mature, and so I kind of felt like she would understand it better, because my mom would say to me, why are you telling her these things, and why are you teaching her this? And I said, because I feel that she would benefit from it, because no one else is going to teach it to her. It has to come from me. I'm her mom, and at that time I was a single mother raising her. And so I taught her about, racism. I said, there's going to be a time where someone is not going to like you because the color of your skin, or because you may be prettier than them, or your hair might be prettier than theirs, or your eyes might be prettier than theirs, or you might dress better than they do, or because there's all different types of racism. It's not just the color of your skin. It's a whole array of racism that goes on, you know. And so I had to teach her about different things, different types of things where the reason why people don't like you, you know, for different reasons, you know. And so for my boys, my 29-year-old, I didn't inherit him. I always say inherit him. I didn't inherit him until I married my husband. When I inherited him, he was 11 years old at the time. And so, you know, he never came across as if he was picked on or anything like that because he was of a darker skin color or anything like that. But I know that one point in time he might have been picked on or something like that, but he never talked about it or anything like that. But you know, I did talk to him about it, you know, and he never said, you know, that he had problems like that. But my younger son, I always talk to him about it, and he'd be like, well, you know, I don't have that type of problem, you know, with that. But I said, yeah, but I know it's gonna come a day in your life, because you are a young black man growing up in America, that, yeah, they're gonna look at you differently. You know, they are. And they are gonna depict you as that. And they are gonna say to you, you know, you are that. And they are gonna do things to you, you know. And so I think I talk to him about it almost every other day, because he'll say, Mom, stop, don't. And I'll tell him, but you need to know these things, you know. I always tell him, you know, you have to be careful. You know, you have to be careful about your surroundings and where you are and who you're with and the things that you do and things that you say. You know, you really have to be careful, you know. And he'll say, oh, Mom, you know, I'm just hanging with my friends, you know. And I say, yeah, but everybody's not your friend, you know, as they seem to be. They'll say they are, but you don't really know, you know. You really have to be careful, you know. So I just tell them, you know, I try to teach my kids about being safe, you know, in America.
Do you feel like you kind of over-taught them because you
No.
were... You don't think you did?
No, I don't think I over-taught them. I don't think I talked to them enough about it, you know, because sometimes I think they are just so, I won't say numb to it. I just think that they're just so blatant to what's going on, you know. They're just like, okay, but that's not gonna happen to me, type of thing, you know. That's not me. It's not gonna happen to me. But you never know, you know. Like you know, I know a couple of my older sons' friends, you know, how they're targeted, you know, just driving a car. You know, the police pull them over all the time, and you know, they just driving a car, you know, and they pull them over and they harass them just for driving the car. You know, that, what they call that? What, driving because you're black? Because you have a nice car? You know, you're not allowed to drive a nice car because you're black, or you're walking because you're wearing a do-rag, or you're wearing a hoodie. They want to stop you and harass you and ask you, do you have ID? Or, you know, it's and I tell my younger son, because he likes to wear do-rag, I tell him, you know, stop wearing your do-rag, you know, because if you wear your do-rag, they're going to want to stop you and ask you for your ID. I tell him all the time, keep your ID on you, you know, at all times, you know. If you're walking down the street, pull your pants up, because if you're wearing your pants a certain way, they want to harass you about that. They want to um, uh, uh, put you in a category, oh, he has his pants hanging down, and so now he's put into a category where, oh, all thugs want to wear their pants hanging down. My son is not a thug. He just
You're
wears
just trying to prepare them for what could happen.
Exactly.
Do you have a story or a particular story where one of your children came home or a story in general with them where you realized race deeply impacted them?
Well, I don't have a story on their side, but I do have a story growing up in a household with 5 brothers that I saw, because I grew up in Brentwood, in an area that my brothers were always harassed by the police, okay? And I could tell you a story where my brother was almost killed by the police officers, okay? And I, myself, was arrested that day. I went to jail that day because I was trying to defend my brother from being killed by the police, okay? My brother was at the house, and me and my mother had just came back from grocery shopping, and my brother, he was acting irate with my father, and so my mom said, okay, let's call the police, and let them, handle the situation, not knowing that when we called the police that they were going to bring the whole 3rd precinct to the house, okay? And so when that happened, they were trying to restrain my brother, and when in the process of them restraining my brother, one of the police officers decided they want to put the chokehold on my brother, okay? So they put the chokehold on my brother, and in the interim of them putting the chokehold on my brother, you had 2 officers on this side holding my brother, 2 officers on this side holding like the Eric Garner situation type thing. They had my brother the same way. And so I told the officer to let my brother go because my brother was saying, I can't breathe, okay? He kept saying, I cannot breathe, I can't breathe. And so I told the officer to let my brother go. He cannot breathe, okay? And so one of the officers standing there told me to shut the F up, and he turned around and he hit me with his flashlight. And those big flashlights that they carry? He hit me with the flashlight. And when he hit me with the flashlight, I took the officer and I picked him up and I slammed him on the hood of my car. Okay? And when I slammed him on the hood of my car, it was like a big brawl breakout. Okay? Because now it broke out so fast that it was my next door neighbor who was involved. It was my other brothers who got involved. And my father got involved. It was a whole array of us that got involved. But when it was all said and done, I got arrested. They took my brother to the psych ward at Stony Brook. Yeah, because they were saying that he's crazy, and he needed psych help and everything like that. But I'm the one that wound up, and I went to jail that night. Yeah, wow. I went to jail that night. Yeah.
So how did that impact you?
That moment impacted me because when I went to jail, it was so demeaning to me because at that time I was I had on my clothes were ripped in the interim of the fight, and so my clothes were ripped, my bra and everything was showing, They would not let my mom bring clothing to me. They took me that way to jail. They fingerprinted me. They, you know, when they take your picture, that's how they took my picture. They took my picture with my clothing ripped, with my bra showing. So it's like they paraded me with all of my clothing ripped and everything like that. I'm a black woman, okay? I'm a black woman. My clothing is ripped. My bra was ripped as well. It was like kind of hanging. My breast was like kind of showing. My clothing, like my pants, I didn't even have pants. I had shorts on because it was in the summertime. So my shorts were ripped. Everything was like, I was kind of like exposed. So I'm exposed in a precinct with all male police officers standing there watching me take these pictures. And so you're like parading me in front of all of these quote unquote Caucasian officers.
So it was very degrading.
Yes, very degrading to me. Very degrading, very demeaning, you know, and it was just, now you have me here and I have, you know, and I'm standing here and you're taking pictures of me like this. Like, really? Like, you really gonna do this? And my mom is saying, you can't do this. You need to let her put clothing on. You cannot do this. And they're telling my mom, yes, we can. We can do this, you know? And then they're telling my mom, and she doesn't have a bail. And my mom is saying, are you kidding me? They wouldn't give me bail. They wanted me to go in front of the judge with my clothing ripped and everything. So I went in front of the judge with ripped clothing and everything. And the judge is like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? You let this woman... Yes. The judge said, you kidding me? You let this woman come in here like this? In front of me like this? Who does this?
So that's a moment you will never forget.
That's a moment I will never forget. It's embedded in my brain. I will never forget that moment.
So let me ask you this. How do you think being a black mom may be different from being a white mom in America?
Okay, so being a black mom in America, the difference than being a white mom in America is very hard. Okay, and the reason why I say it's hard is because being a black mom, it takes more time and it takes more energy for you to raise your children to be successful in America. You know, you really have to do a lot of research and things of that nature for your children to get a good education, to get you know, to get good health care, to get anything as opposed to the white sector. You know, the white sector, everything is like laid out for them. You know, for the black community, we really have to like know somebody to know somebody to know somebody in order to get our resources. You know, the resources are not there as opposed to for the white community. Resources are just laid out for them, you know. And for what reason, I don't know, you know, because I have white counterparts, you know, and I talk to them all the time. And they're like, you didn't know that? Or this is how you do, and this is where you go. And
You have to learn everything on your own.
Right. So I have to research. I have to do a lot of research all the time. I always find myself researching all the time for my children to get things as opposed to, you know, things just being there for them, you know. So it's very hard. It's very hard being a black mom as opposed to being a white mother in America. Very hard, and especially if you're a single black mom in America, as opposed to being a single white mom in America. It's very hard. very hard.
What do you think America could learn from Black moms?
What do I think America could learn from Black mothers? They can learn a lot from Black mothers if they would listen. They have to learn to listen to a Black mom and what she has to say about education, number one, for her children, what she has to say that's going to benefit her children, okay? Because the children, our Black children, are the future, okay? And if our Black children don't get what it is they need to succeed, and they're going to stay stagnated, you know, and the stagnation is just going to cause them to be just stuck in one place, and they don't have nowhere to grow. You know, they need to grow, and we as the parents can't give it to them if we don't know where to go get it. You know, that goes back to the research thing. We have to do the research to give it to them, you know. And so if America is not willing to give it to them, who's going to give it to them? We as the parents have to be able to give it to them. America has to give it to us in order for us to give it to them. So, I mean, you know, I try every day, you know, like if I get information, I try to share it, you know, with other, you know, Black mothers, and try to give it, you know, so that they will be able to give it to their children, you know, to try to help one another, you know, because that's the only way that we're going to help, you know, to help one another, because nobody else is going to help us. So we have to help one another, you know. So, yeah.
Well, that was the last question.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good.
Be nice in the comments, everyone. Bye.
Bye.